Yeah, Danny.
What? What am I doing? What's happening? What
I
are
was
we
talking to
doing?
Nick, but then he said, "Oh yeah, Danny."
What are we?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Anime Summit Podcast. I'm Nick, and with me I have Sam.
Heyo.
And Danny.
Hello, everyone.
And this is episode 139, if I recall correctly. We're talking about the final, most recent Studio Ghibli films, The Tale of Princess Kaguya and When Marnie Was There. And there is also a future film in the works, but we'll get to that later. So this is like the final part of our Ghibli series where we talk about 3 Ghibli movies in an episode, and we discuss them and say, oh, what's good, what's bad, where does it fit in our list of the Ghibli pantheon, you know. And now we're at the ultimate moment. So
Can I
this
just
should be
say
pretty
something?
cool.
Can I just say something? I'm a little sad that it's over. I'm gonna gather myself. Give me 10 seconds. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it's cool though, right? We set out like this is actually like behind the scenes and shit. Like this was Nick's idea to like be like, hey, let's watch every Ghibli.
It's a very unique idea. No one's ever thought of it.
Everybody's like, let's watch every Ghibli film and tell people
Yeah.
if we like it or not. It's like, okay.
How
You know.
novel.
Yeah. But like, you know what? It made me watch all the ones I had yet to see still. So I mean, that's
Yeah,
legit.
and rewatching some of the other ones was good too, because I liked them more. A lot of them, maybe all of them.
Oh, same.
So yeah, I mean,
I think
good
I have
Studio
like
Ghibli.
definitely have a new love for Only Yesterday, for sure. But yeah. So
Yeah, and
oh, go ahead. Nick.
another note is like we at the end of the episode we're gonna like talk about our final, rankings of the films, like which ones we like the most, where we put them, and we're not including Lupin, the Castle of Cagliostro, or Nausicaa because those weren't part of Studio Ghibli. They were Miyazaki, but not technically Ghibli. So we will talk about those in a future episode, and maybe we'll try to like slot them in like posthumously, but I just wanted to use that word in a sentence.
Posthumously.
But yeah, so like we're gonna have 20 films, and we're gonna rank them at the end. But now we're talking about Kaguya and When Marnie Was There, and then also we're going to like we're gonna give some shout outs and takeaways to the documentary The Kingdom of Dreams and Madness, which was, I believe, that was filmed in like 2012.
Yeah.
Remember correctly.
2013. Yeah, like around the 2011, 2012, before
They were covering the
when
Wind
the Wind
Rises.
Rises
Yep.
and Princess Kaguya.
Yep.
Except they didn't. Oh, well, we'll get to it. They didn't really cover Kaguya very much in that one, but it's like
It was very little, but
Yeah.
that was because of Isao, his delaying of like not finishing the film, but he ended up finishing the film anyway.
And then it was also I think it was also a little bit more of an exploration of where Miyazaki came from and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And how he is going forward and all that.
Miyazaki, Suzuki, all 3 of them.
Because when this documentary was made, they made a documentary because it was thought that The Wind Rises was supposed to be Miyazaki's last film.
Retirement film.
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
And then fucking Your Name had to come out, and now he's like, God damn it!
Well, now I gotta show these kids who's boss. But anyway.
As he should.
Right. Grandpa
Totoro
Miyazaki.
2, Tokyo Drift.
What you doing?
That's what it's gonna be.
Pompoko 2, even bigger sacks. Okay. Oh, shut up, Sam. You're stupid. Okay. I'm going to get into the news, right? I'm going to do the news again because Nick is still... Okay, everyone, you know what? I'm sick of y'all shit. Leave Nick alone, okay?
Whoa.
His voice is still a little pacho-y, so I'm gonna do the news. So just everyone stop yelling at Nick, except Danny. You keep yelling at him. Everyone else,
Shut up, Nick.
Everyone else, though, just saw him down.
Shut up, Nick.
He's like,
Your yelling makes me stronger.
Shut up, Nick.
all right, everyone, Danny the hell down. Okay, just relax. So, do it again. Why wasn't Space Dandy the next Cowboy Bebop? It's an old ass article, is it? No, it's not. It was the 20th anniversary of Otakon. Whoa, really?
Holy crap.
Holy shit. But it's kind of interesting. It kind of talks about how Space Dandy was announced at Otakon and stuff like that, and people were asking him about Cowboy Bebop and shit, and he's just kind of like, I ain't about that life. But I still haven't seen Space Dandy. I've only seen the first 4 or 5 episodes. So
It's pretty. I haven't finished it either. It's pretty hilarious though, but I definitely wouldn't compare. Like I wouldn't really compare it to like Cowboy Bebop. Like I don't think it's the next Cowboy Bebop because it's like it's completely different. It's like the complete opposite of Cowboy Bebop. Like it's more colorful
right.
than Cowboy
It's a little more
Bebop.
silly.
Cowboy Bebop is like dark and ominous a little bit.
It's got a
and
certain environment to it, and then Space
Yeah.
Dandy is just kind of all over the
Yeah.
place.
Well, the
But
difference
in
is
this-
the era they came out.
Right. So in this article, it kind of emphasizes on like how after its initial run, it kind of left fandom consciousness, like almost right after. People had higher expectations for it because, you know, of who was making it and stuff.
Yeah,
Of
watching
course.
other-
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna happen, but like regardless, he wanted to make something different that wasn't Cowboy Bebop, and he achieved that. You know, it technically doesn't have to be the next Cowboy Bebop.
So recently, it returned to the 2:30 a.m. slot on Toonami. For those of you who don't know, back in the day, Saturday night Adult Swim was just anime, and Toonami was like afternoon, evening, primetime anime that was edited and censored. Now Toonami is just Saturday night Adult Swim, which is awesome. But I guess it kind of revived it a little bit, which is kind of cool, right? I mean, this is an anime that I feel like everyone should watch, as Nick has said in the past, especially to me because I haven't seen the whole thing yet. But
Oh yeah, it's one of the best anime to come out in the last 10 years, I would say.
right, so that's an interesting article. I'd almost like to visit this as a topic about.
Yeah, this is kind of its own topic too. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like a big ass article. Goes into Rick and Morty later on. Just like it's kind of like why wasn't Space Dandy a hit, and it goes
right.
it explains it because it came out in the era of like social media and millions of anime are out, and there's no such thing as monoculture anymore. So like there's everyone has their little niche, and they don't know about everything that comes out because back in the day, there was only a small handful of entertainment things that came out every year, and you'd be like, oh well, I saw Jurassic Park, did you? Yes, because fucking everybody saw it. So like, but
Right.
now we have thousands of things, and you're just bombarded. So that's part of it, and then there's other parts too that they get into
Right.
in there.
So we should explore that later. But anyway, I'll make sure that Nick puts the link in the show notes. Dragon Ball Super movie got put up on Mal. That's going to be sick. It's going to talk about Saiyans. I'm not going to say much else because there's not really much else about it. But I'm excited for that. It's going to be dope because we know it's going to end soon and whatever. Somebody posted on Anime News Network to the answer man, is it now cool to be an anime fan because celebrities like anime? Because recently Kim Kardashian, we all know this happened, posted a picture of 02 from Darling in the Franxx saying like hair goals or something like that. Or
yeah, it's like her inspiration or something.
yeah, hair inspiration. Michael B. Jordan also came out as being a Dragon Ball fan or whatever, and even
To be
going
fair,
as
everybody's a Dragon Ball fan.
I know, why not, right? Even as going as far as saying that his armor was kind of based on Vegeta's armor, his armor in Black Panther, that is. So Anonymous asked, well, recently this happened and this happened. Kim Kardashian and Michael B. Jordan came out as like an anime. I grew up a freak for liking anime. Really don't know how I feel about this. Okay, first of all, being an anime fan is not closed off to anyone. Anyone can be an anime fan. It's not anyone's fault but the people who made fun of you that you like. You know what I mean? Like, those people are dicks, okay? Just, I mean, how do you know that Michael B. Jordan didn't grow up getting made fun of? You know, for like an anime, or any of these other people. They probably all got made fun of too. You know what I'm saying? Jamie Lee Curtis, Robin Williams, Samuel L. Jackson, Christian Bale, Tobey Maguire, Haley Williams from Paramore cosplayed Blood the Last Vampire on stage during Halloween. And then you also have the behind the scenes people like Guillermo del Toro, Quentin Tarantino, Darren Aronofsky.
Oh yeah,
creator.
and then James Cameron, right? He based Interstellar off of Gunbuster,
and he's doing
loosely.
Alita.
Yeah, and he's doing Battle Angel Alita.
Yeah, the creator of the fucking Simpsons and Futurama goes to Anime Expo. So, I know this guy on this Anime News Network, the Answer Man, already answered you, but I'm going to give you my answer. And my answer is, I'm sorry if you got made fun of for like an anime. I got made fun of it too. Nick got made fun of it, I'm sure. But you can't get mad at famous people for like an anime. Like, that's just kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and some people are calling them fake fans, you know, trying to pander. But
okay, well,
you know, that's just, you know, that's kind of BS. Like, just, yeah, if they like it, let them like it. I mean, shit. Don't be a fucking, you know,
right,
fedora, neckbeard gatekeeper, you know?
Right.
You gotta let people in.
Kanye West, did like a little inspiration in one of his music videos for Akira.
It was Stronger, yeah.
Kanye like was wearing a hospital gown and stuff like that, and that was like one of the scenes with Kaneda in the hallway and shit. So
yeah, when he wakes up. Yep.
You know, like these celebrities are human as well. Like,
right.
And
they just have a lot of money.
They have a lot of money, and they you know, they can do anything they want. Me personally, I really think Kim Kardashian is a fake, and she likes to be like in the now and like what's in and everything. And since she is married to Kanye West, I'm pretty sure Kanye showed her, you know, Akira, and like has like, you know, been watching some anime, but like I really don't believe anything that comes out of her mouth anyway, because she like posts a lot of like false information on like where she gets her inspiration from.
She kind of does, yeah. It's kind of weird. But then again, too, who's also to say that she wasn't cruising Twitter and saw somebody retweet a picture of 02?
Yeah,
and she just thought, like, oh, that looks cool.
Yeah,
you know,
that's my guess.
But
yeah,
I'm guessing that she doesn't like necessarily watch every show, but what she probably does is like look at the art.
Right.
She probably goes to she's one of those snobby Sakaboru people who goes onto those forums and it's like, oh, look at the soccer guy. Wow.
So I'll end it with this, right?
moderator.
I would be lying if I said I didn't want to watch an anime with Kim Kardashian. That's all I'm saying. Do I?
Keijo,
what?
Dude. There you go.
Keijo, we can watch Keijo. Be like, look, they made an anime about you. Anyway,
let's move on.
This is kind of interesting. Legend of the VHS fan subs tracking down Miami Mike. So there's this lore about this guy named Miami Mike who was part of a Dragon Ball fan sub, and they always would put. Back in the day, the way they put text on VHS tapes, they edited text on there, was they had this little computer device that plugged into a VHS recording machine, and you had to type it out. And somebody on a fan sub put, Miami, this is brought to you by Sentinasar Video. No thanks to Miami Mike. I remember what you did to me at Dragon Con. And it was like at the end credits of a Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z episode. You know, back in the day, if you wanted to watch something ahead of time, you know, they didn't have Crunchyroll and shit. And if you wanted to watch it before it came to the States, which would take a long time sometimes, you had to order it from some guy who ran a fan sub website, and he would process it on record it on a VHS for you and send it to you, and you'd pay him like $50. You know what I mean? So like, it's crazy. That's how my cousin Mario like watched anime when he was, you know, younger. But he explained that to me one time, and that was crazy. So anyway, I'm going to post that. Make sure Nick posts that link in the article. This is super interesting. the lore of Miami Mike, if he's a real person. What did he do to this guy at Dragon Con? It's kind of funny. That's it for the news, though.
That's another one of its own topics. Like,
yeah, that's actually really
we
funny.
would need one of the old takus to go deep on it because we didn't really participate in.
I
VHS trading.
will contact my cousin Mario.
You gotta get like Mike Toole and all the people from. I mean, the thing is, if you want to know more about this, honestly, just check out the Anime World Order podcast. Like, they have a lot of experience with that. So, and I think they have some episodes
because they lived it.
Yeah,
they lived it. They grew up.
So like this is just a little taste of that.
Right. So because by the time I was like getting into anime when I was a kid, at Suncoast Video you could get the Japanese versions of anime.
Same.
They would cost less than the dubbed version, which was weird. But yeah. So anyway, let's go on to waifu of the week. Did we pick one? No.
Shit.
Shit.
Marnie or Kaguya.
Marnie.
Oh no. It has to be Kaguya because that's her story.
That makes sense.
She's the princess. She's trying to get married. Or she's not trying
No,
to.
she's not
trying
to get married. What are you talking about? Get your facts straight, man.
That's because none of them brought her a sick Asuka figurine. Oh.
I'm going to give Husbando of the hour to Grandpa Miyazaki-san because he's been in an anime, right? Like, he probably has. Like, he's been animated into a thing. Probably.
No, he was in the documentary.
There you go. Miyazaki-san is fucking... I think he's like 70-something, right? Shit.
We could throw a fastball and give it to Hideaki Anno.
Oh, yeah, because he was in the winter. He was in the documentary, too, yeah. But yeah, oh yeah, he's 77. Holy shit. Okay, anyway.
He's Joseph Joestar.
So there you go. Waifu of the week is Kaguya because hello. And then husband of the hour is Hayao Miyazaki because hello. He's Japanese silver fox. That's all you need to know.
He is a silver fox.
He really is actually really handsome. Anyway, so here's the main topic.
His hair is glorious.
Dude, he's a silver fox. He's like
his hair and his beard are like spot on, man.
Yeah, like he's so like I don't know, he may make some weird like kind of comments like, oh, anime sucks now or something weird like that, but he's a humble guy for the most part, I think. Anyway, on to the main topic, Ghibli Part 7. Last one. Here we go. Let's go out with a bang, 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 bang.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize. Just go ahead. The Tale of Princess Kaguya is in the order we do things here. This came out in 2013. It was directed by Isao Takahata. It was written by Isao Takahata and Riko Sakaguchi. Produced by Nishimura. Music by the wonderful Joe Hisaishi.
The legend.
Sure.
And it's based off of an old Japanese story called The Tale of the Bamboo Cutter.
He cut the bamboo out of time.
And it's one of the oldest... Apparently, it's one of the oldest Japanese prose narratives, so that's pretty cool.
Yes.
According to Wikipedia.
Yes. According to my uncle who read on Wikipedia. No, this is the Tale of the Bamboo Cutter is a 10th century Japanese fictional prose narrative. So like what we call here like American tall tales, like Paul Bunyan and shit like that. The oldest manuscripts date back to the 1500s or 1600s, Edo period, around that shit. But yeah, the Tale of Princess Kaguya was an adaptation of that. Is based on the folktale of the Bamboo Cutter. It was Takahata's fifth and final film for Studio Ghibli, since he did My Neighbor the Yamadas, and it came out in 2013.
We should list his films really quick.
Yeah, he did Takahata. He did Grave of the Fireflies.
Yep.
Only yesterday.
That was released in conjunction with Totoro, and then Kaguya was released in conjunction with The Wind Rises.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He also did Only Yesterday, and then
Yep.
and when I say did, I mean he wrote and directed these.
Yeah.
So he also did Pompoko, and then My Neighbors the Yamadas, and then he hadn't really done anything up until The Tale of Princess Kaguya. So there you go. So he's done 5. But he's awesome. I think he's awesome. I think his
Dude,
films
yeah,
are great.
all of his movies are really good, especially. I mean, the Yamadas is less popular, but all of them are worth watching. So, and
Sure.
Pompoko. Wait,
Sure.
did he do the Yamadas?
He did.
Okay.
And he did
He did
Only
do the
Yesterday.
Yamadas.
And then he did Only Yesterday and Pompoko. So that's pretty good.
He does love his 2-hour marks on his movies.
Shit, right? Jesus.
Like
Exactly.
when you think it's over, it's not.
But yeah, the dude is 82 years old. He's been a long-time collaborative partner with Miyazaki.
Miyazaki's
He's
He's
senpai.
also his mentor.
Right. For a long
So,
time.
Yeah, because the two of them work together at Toei Animation.
Yeah, Takahata.
Yeah.
Like
that's where
helped start
Takahata.
Miyazaki's career.
Yeah, that's where Takahata-san met Miyazaki-san and Suzuki-san. So, and then they formed what is Studio Ghibli today.
Yep.
Save it for the Kingdom of Dreams and Madness discussion, Dan.
Podcast.
Oh my god. That's what we're talking about right now.
So yeah, the Tale of Princess Kaguya. Who wants to kind of quickly summarize this one? Really, you're kind of just also summarizing the tale of the bamboo cutter as well. So
Yeah, they're very similar. So basically, I mean, the idea is that it's like based on this myth where this old couple finds a miniature girl growing inside of a bamboo shoot, and they believe that she's, a divine god, and then they decide to raise her.
Blessing, not a divine god, a blessing from the heavens.
Well, divine presence, yeah. It's what's the word? Kami? No, they don't think she's a kami. Anyway, they think she's a presence. So yes, they decide to raise her as their own, and she grows up really fast, like super duper fast, like Ponyo style, where she's just like before your eyes, she's like getting bigger, and she makes friends with the kids in their little forest village where they're basically harvesting bamboo and using it to create different products like bowls and stuff like that. And they call her the bamboo girl. What is the name they called her?
Little
bamboo. Little bamboo. Yep. So I watched this in the Japanese subtitle because it's literally in Japan, and like it's like a Japanese story specifically.
right.
I don't know how the dub is. Danny, did you check that out at all?
I did. It's all. I mean,
It doesn't make sense to
the
watch
dub,
the dub.
the dub. Well, the reason why. So my thing when it comes to like Japanese settings, sometimes I can't understand what the meaning behind it. So what I do is I usually if I decide to watch it subbed, I'll watch it subbed. And then if I don't get it, like if I have like this weird feeling about it at the end, I usually see if there's a dub and I watch the dub so I can understand it a little bit more.
Yeah, assuming they didn't change the whole meaning of everything.
Yeah,
Right.
Sometimes
I mean,
they
like
do.
I didn't this time. I didn't watch the sub for this one, because like I have to watch. I've been busy, so I didn't really have the time to sit and watch it twice. So I just went straight to the dub because it's easier for me that way.
Who did the voices?
It's I mean
the dub
the dub.
is Chloe Grace Moretz did Princess Kaguya.
Yeah.
Darren Criss, who's from Glee. There's also Lucy Liu, George Segal, James Marsden, Oliver.
Oh, Chloe
Platt.
Moretz. She's the one with the gift.
She plays
meme.
Hit Girl.
She's the one with the meme where she's like making the surprise face.
and Bo Bridges and John Cho. Well, she plays Hit Girl and Kick Ass. There you go. But anyway, Danny, go ahead. Sorry.
But I mean, it's definitely the dub. Even like since it was licensed by Walt Disney and stuff. I have to say this voice cast was like the weakest.
It was G Kids, I believe.
Out of everything.
No, it was Disney.
No, it was Disney.
Oh, why is this licensor says G Kids? Okay, I'm looking at the wrong page.
G Kids is like what they do. They produce
like a division?
all the Ghibli films in theaters in selected months.
Oh, you know what? I'm confusing G Kids with 4Kids. All right, never mind.
God.
So yeah, I would just kind of look at it like a Disney movie then, because I guess a lot of Disney movies take place in like Aladdin is in Arabia somewhere, so they don't speak English there. So
it's a fictional Arab.
It's
place,
fine.
Yeah,
I'm overthinking it.
What I got out of this film, I got it. It reminded me of Thumbelina.
It's Agrabah, by the way.
And we should say the rest of the general plot. So she's raised by this old couple. She turns out to be a beautiful girl, and then they save it up. They save up enough gold to bring her to the capital.
No.
Or not the capital.
No.
The guy like
the
finds
bamboo cutter.
gold.
The bamboo cutter found gold
Yeah.
while he was doing his job, and then all of a sudden, like, these gorgeous silk robes shot out, and he's all like, "This is a sign from the heavens. They want us, to give Kaguya like the best life she could ever have."
Well,
like,
yeah, that's.
I want to raise her to be a real princess.
So he uses the gold to help him with that. So like basically they take her to try to become a nobility, and they go to. It's not the capital. It's like a big city. I don't remember the name of it.
They don't really like say what
they go to a city.
They just say they say the capital.
Because the emperor shows up, and it looks like he like traveled there. So I don't think it's the same place. But anyway, so they go to where the nobility are, where some of them are, and they try to raise her as a princess, and then eventually she becomes a desired suitor, or not a suitor, a desired like wife or bride. So like a bunch of male nobility attempt to gain her affection. They have to like, she sends them off on quests to find these rare or fictional items because she doesn't want to marry them. And then they go and do that. And meanwhile, she's just trying to live her life. She's not trying to be, cooped up as a princess. And at the end of the movie, she has to go back to the moon folk. She's like part of. She's actually. It's kind of like Land of the Lustrous. Like when at the end of it, when it showed up, Danny.
Way
like
to give away. Yeah, I know.
The cloud shows up and there's like Buddha and like.
When I watched that, I was all like, those damn moon people. They ruined everything.
And so yeah, she has to go back, and then once they put the cloak on her, she forgets all of what happened.
Oh man, why'd you have to give away the ending? You gave away like half the ending.
It's an old story. It's thousands of years old.
Yeah, but you just gave it away. Now people like you just spoiled it for people.
That's fine. It's fine. It's an old story.
Oh my!
This is a Ghibli movie. You can't spoil that. The whole point.
You just spoiled it right now.
The whole point
though.
of this movie is the Sakuga. It's the crazy like. Rough drawings where she's like running in the moonlight and all that, all the robes are flying off and stuff. And it's got the good Joe Hisaishi soundtrack. And, it's the story itself is not, it's not as what's the word? It's kind of like a fundamental type story. It's nothing that's going to blow your mind. It's pretty basic.
It's very subtle. It's not like in your face. The artwork, like the animation and everything is like absolutely amazing. Like I thought it was incredible that Takahata-san decided to go this route.
Well, all of his movies look like this pretty much.
Well, not Grave of the Fireflies.
That's the only one. But then like Only Yesterday
and Only
has like
Yesterday
the same
is
style.
Not like that.
It's
not
pretty much the same
really.
style because they like. At least, okay, in parts of it, and the Yamadas as well, they they like kind of don't draw the backgrounds. You know what I mean? It's kind of really like faded fog of war type thing, and they focus on the characters moving, the movement. So,
when I watched it, I didn't feel like I was watching a movie. It felt like I was reading a storybook.
Yeah, it's like a storybook. The characters are kind of archetypes. They're less rounded than some of the more contemporary stories we get nowadays.
Right.
Like, compare this to Spirited Away, and it's not even close, right?
Well,
because
there's two different stories.
Well, because of the source material, like
from two different people.
Yeah, I'm just saying compare the characterization, like how dynamic each character is. The characters here are pretty one note, and that's fine because it's an old story. You don't have multifaceted characters other than Kaguya and sort of the boy that she meets in the beginning. It's very like a folktale. Sam, you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, it's based off the bamboo cutters.
They're not trying to like blow your mind with that. It's pretty straightforward.
No, I know that. But I just feel that Spirited Away isn't really a good comparison.
Okay, well, whatever. Pick another movie then. Shit.
Oh
okay,
God.
Kiki's Delivery Service. There you go. All right.
That also doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
No, Kiki's Delivery Service has plenty of well-rounded characters. Like Kiki, she learns and grows. She feels like a real person, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean?
To be quite honest, okay, yeah, I see where you're going because, Kaguya is a strong female character. And usually Studio Ghibli films, especially with Miyazaki-san, like, he has a lot of strong female roles. So, like, I get that perspective. I get that comparison. But the film in general and overall, I can't compare it to like Spirited Away or Kiki's Delivery Service.
No, I'm not saying it's the same story.
What I compare it to is like Thumbelina, because
it's like a fairy tale. It's more of a fairy tale than like a real story, if that makes sense. It has like these defined these archetype characters. It's a pretty linear style plot. It's not gonna surprise anybody. That's what I'm saying. You don't have these characters, acting like real rounded people. They're just there to teach you a lesson, kind of like Aesop's Fables a little bit. And that's what it is. It's
like Paul Bunyan.
It's basically like the idea of Princess Kaguya. She learns to cherish the humans as a moon folk. She didn't know that. She came down and learned that, even despite all the suffering and pain and that she might have experienced, the highs made up for the lows, and it was worth, living in that world. That's what she was trying to say at the end. And then I think at the end it hinted that she looked back at the earth and like remembered that she liked it. I don't think she specifically knew, but I think she looked back and had a feeling,
Yeah. Damn, you wasted that ending as well. You spoiled it for everyone again.
I think we do spoil Ghibli episodes, don't we?
It's like a 2,000-year-old story. Or like a 1,000.
Yeah, but like,
then again, we forgot to say spoiler alert at the beginning.
Yeah, but also some people aren't like researching. Oh, I should look into the Tale of the Bamboo Cutter because I want to know about this story. No, people don't. People don't do that.
Well, we can put a spoiler alert. That's fine. I mean, like, all I'm saying is, you don't watch this for the plot. That's not what it's not about. The twist.
Watched it for the plot.
No,
What are you talking about?
You watch it for the spectacle, like the production, the animation. The soundtrack.
I watched it for the plot, and I watched it for the animation. That's what I look into films, like any sort of film.
Hashtag fuck plot.
Well, that's your logic. That's that. My logic is completely different compared to yours. So.
But I think what Nick is trying to say is like, okay, so the point the point of like, okay, I'm gonna say Paul Bunyan again, okay, so whatever. But the point of the
remember
Paul
the story of
Bunyan
Paul
story, the plot wasn't that important as much as like, okay, so like his character was made to be like this ridiculous strong. He was abnormally huge, whatever.
Right.
The point of the story of Paul Bunyan was to show how parts of America were made. It wasn't about him and the fucking ox. Him and the ox were just, they were the main characters of the story, but they're literally
just there.
They were just there to show to what So I
and
think
like
what Nick is
Kaguya
trying
is
to
like
say
maybe
is,
one level above that. You know, she's got some more going on, but it's, you know, she's not on the level of Kiki. She's not on the level of oh god, I can't remember her name. The girl from Spirited Away, starts with the C.
Chihiro.
Chihiro. There we go.
or
It's
Sen.
not on that level where she feels like a real person. All of these characters feel fictional, and that's the point. They're not supposed to be somebody that you can relate to perfectly. Like, that's not what the movie is, and that's fine. I'm not saying that's like terrible. Like, that's you know, they're using the source material.
I suppose, but I think you can relate to Kaguya in a like.
Well,
a
she's the
little
most
bit,
relatable.
You know?
Yeah, she's the most relatable. But then all the other ones are just, you know, they have one thing going on.
Right.
Alright, so then why are you mad, Nick?
Okay, which prince would you marry?
Neither.
There's 5 of them,
wouldn't.
if I remember.
Yeah, there was 5 of them. One of them died.
The hot one.
The hot one.
The smooth talking Casanova. He could pluck my flower. I'd pick him too, because he was like the least ugliest. You know what I'm saying?
Same.
Like, they're all gonna cheat on you, but you know, you might as well.
Well, they all freaking had wives.
Actually,
Are
it
you
wasn't
kidding?
even even cheating in that day. They just had concubines, so their culture was like polygamous or whatever. So I don't know. At least for the rich people. Yeah,
So,
I mean, there's not like a ton. I don't know. Like, I kind of explained it. There's not like a ton to delve into. I mean, there is a lot, but like, what kind of questions did you guys have? What do you think this was saying at the end? Sam, you haven't spoken up a lot.
You know what? Okay, I'm gonna be real. Kind of didn't really enjoy this one. I wasn't really in it for, I don't know. I just wasn't.
Well, yeah, because it's a fairy tale.
Yeah, maybe that's probably why. I was more. I guess that's why it was boring to me. I didn't really take anything away from it. The only thing I took away from it was it kind of shed light on kind of the old world of things, which is kind of cool. You know, like arranged marriages or things like that, or whatever.
Yeah.
But one thing I think that it kind of shed light on was growing up, which I think a lot of people don't really talk about. Because she grew up quick, obviously, right? Physically, and she kind of had to mentally, in a sense.
Yeah.
And she kind of grew up really quickly, only knowing what she knew, and that was where she was when the people who found her, the people who raised her, you know. So like, I think I kind of take away that. Other than that, I was really just in it for like how beautiful it looked. I don't know.
Yeah, it had like that painterly, watercolory background, you know, like brush strokes and stuff.
Yeah, I fucking loved it.
It looked
I
awesome.
loved that. Like, I would love to be able to paint like that style one day, hopefully. But anyway, that's kind of
the film was nominated for best animated feature.
Oh,
at
so
at the Oscars.
justified.
And it also received like 20 nominations worldwide.
Oh yeah,
So like
a shit ton.
Oh, that's because that's because Disney picked it up. Disney didn't pick up the new ones that came out a year ago, so that's why those didn't get nominated. Because Disney is like, they own Hollywood, so.
well.
Yeah, pretty much.
But regardless, it received a lot of nominations, aside from the Oscars. But to me, I feel like this film was a really good send off for Takahata-san. Like, I really feel like that he put his heart his blood, sweat, and tears into this film.
Oh yeah.
So, like, I know Sam, like, you didn't enjoy it, but out of the Takahata-san films that I've seen, like, this one, I have to say, like, was one of my favorites. Even for it being like 2 hours long, because, you know, like, every time I thought it was over, it wasn't. It just kept on going. So.
Oh, who messed with our spreadsheet? You guys changed all the colors.
I did it.
I did not do that.
Oh my god. Somebody deleted. All right, getting salty. Oh, you know what? Okay, nope. I'm wrong. My computer, I'm using Flux or whatever, the app that changes the color of your screen.
Wow.
So my yellow looks white.
I'm just gonna leave this in because it's funny.
I'm like, fucked with my tears.
So do we want to? We're gonna wait till the end, obviously, like we do with every Ghibli episode. We're gonna wait till the end before we say what we liked the most. And in this case, we're gonna be ranking all of them. So shut up, Pacho.
Oh my god.
This whole episode is dedicated to yelling at Pacho.
Yelling at Pacho.
But yeah, no, it got a lot of awards. I'm trying to look up to see what beat it in animation. Oh, Big Hero 6.
Yeah.
Disney film.
Okay.
Because
Sure.
Disney and Pixar always fucking beat
and
everything.
don't get me wrong, I loved Big Hero 6. I fucking love that film, but
Oh no, I'm sure it's awesome. Actually, it might even be better.
but-
Well, that's like
That's
that's like
why-
3D animation. That's like some Pixar shit right there.
it's a Disney film that's not Pixar, so it's kind of confusing.
Looks similar, is what I'm saying.
Because
It's not.
people get that confused all the time. But anyway,
Is it DreamWorks or Lucas Art? I don't know. Whatever. Don't know.
no, it's Disney. Okay,
That's the marshmallow one.
you're the Baymax. His name is Baymax, and they're in San Francisco. It's California.
Which that is also based on a manga.
Is that based on Neo Yokio?
God no.
All right,
Stop
moving
it. All right, moving on.
So the next movie we're talking about is When Marnie Was There.
She was there
this
one time.
one aired in 2014, the year after Kaguya and the Wind Rises. Directed by Yoshiaki Nishimura. Or, I'm sorry. I said that wrong. That was the producer.
Hiromasa Yonebayashi.
Hiromasa Yonebayashi. There we go. I said the producer on accident, but Nishimura, I think he was in the Kingdom of Dreams and Madness. That's what I was mixing up.
Yes.
He was like the overly handsome guy. Did you guys notice that in that documentary?
Yeah.
Was that him or somebody else?
Nope, that was him.
No, that was him.
Yeah, look at that guy. He's like a model.
He's
the overly
tall.
handsome guy.
wait.
Look at that.
He's tall, dark, and handsome.
He's still Starks and God
Look at that
damn
jaw.
it.
All right. Well, anyway, so When Marnie Was There, this is the Yonebayashi movie.
This is the quote-unquote last film of Studio Ghibli.
Now, Yonebayashi, this guy looks goofy. This guy looks like a director. Look at that.
This guy looks goofy.
That's how you can trust him.
He does look a little goofy. He's like, he studied at the Kanazawa College of Art. There you go. What are you mad for?
No, but that's how you know he's a good director.
Right,
Okay.
that's how you know he does stuff. He also
So does anybody want to take this summary? Or oh, sorry, go ahead, Sam. Just
no, I was just saying. But anyway, you know what? Fun fact. Actually, yeah, I can take this one because here's why. Because when we first started this podcast, actually, this episode's not on YouTube, but I'm sure if you scroll down iTunes long enough, you could probably find it somewhere, unless it circulates out. I don't know, but it's one of the first things I reviewed on this show, on this podcast with Nick, was When Marnie Was There. Because we watched it as it was available to watch for us. Because I don't think it came out in 2014, but we weren't able to watch it until 2015.
we recorded our first impressions of this in like 2015 or 2016.
2015 or 20, yeah.
It was one of those.
This was also, just to note, this film featured the final work for Studio Ghibli animator Makiko Futaki, who died in 2016. And I think we said that on this show too, but she's best known for her contributions to Totoro, Mononoke, and Spirited Away. And she also did some other stuff for Studio Gainax, and then did When Marnie Was There, and did Castle of Cagliostro. So there you go.
Oh, dude, that had some good animation. Oh my god.
Mutaki Futaki. I think we did mention her when she died on this podcast, but Rest
I
in
can't wait to
Paradise
talk about
Homie.
Cagliostro, man. That was awesome animation.
Legit. No, for real. It was really good. So anyway, Nick said all the credentials already. When Marnie Was There is about a girl named Anna Sasaki, who she's kind of shy 12-year-old girl, and she lives with her foster parents in Sapporo. One time, or she during school she gets an asthma attack, and then her foster parents discussed to her doctor saying, you know, she's kind of introverted, she's kind of shy, you know, blah 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 blah. Let's send her with my relatives in Yoriko, which is like a rural seaside town. It's like the fucking boonies, okay? Like, it's old school. And she draws, you know, she's like introverted, she's shy and shit. And one day, just kind of walking around, seeing shit, she discovers this salt marsh, and there's like this beautiful fucking mansion on this salt marsh. And it's kind of creepy too, like it's kind of ominous or whatever. And then she sees a blonde girl like on top of the marsh, and then she starts dreaming of that blonde girl. From here on, the film just gets kind of like very paranormal. Like when she's in the mansion, she's seeing what she thinks is actually happening, but it's not. It's like they're having like a party, a dinner party, and there's a bunch of rich people, the wine glasses and everything. It's actually what she's seeing is actually something that happened already.
It's a memory.
It was a memory, yeah, just running through the mansion. And then Marnie is the blonde girl that she sees, and she starts confiding in Anna about all of the trauma and abuse she suffered in that mansion, and how her two maids abused her when her parents would fucking leave her alone, like, constantly. It's almost kind of sad. It's almost kind of like a tragic.
It's not. It kind of has a happy ending, but it's a tragedy. So, this film
I wouldn't call it a tragedy.
Well, it has a lot of sad moments. It's not a happy.
It's more like melancholic and like bittersweet, because like.
Yeah.
Are we gonna spoil this?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think we already kind of.
Okay. Sorry, I had to leave the room for a second. Holy crap, my voice is sounding different right now.
No,
anyway.
right, yeah.
Okay, so tell me if I interpreted this wrong. Marnie was her grandmother, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure I didn't fuck that up.
No, you are correct.
That's not really a tragedy. That's just her, like, remembering how her grandmother loved her, and she kind of...
Yeah, but she didn't know that Marnie was her grandmother, because...
Yeah.
Her parents died when Anna was a very young age. So, and then her grandmother died.
That's like the tragedy, but it doesn't happen in the movie. So
yes, it does.
Her parents dying in the movie? I don't think that happened.
It was explained.
It was explained, but it wasn't like.
But
it was like a prequel.
There
to the
wasn't
movie,
a scene. There wasn't a scene
so
of it, but it was mentioned in it.
It's dealing with the
there
aftermath.
Was a flashback.
Yeah.
So it was mentioned in the movie.
The aftermath, like trying to find her life. So like, I think it's kind of good that she was able to connect with her grandma like that. Like spiritually, you know, at the end or whatever, or during the whole movie, really. And so, like, I think that's a positive thing.
It is a positive thing because, you know, Anna, she didn't know, I don't want to say she was having like a midlife crisis, because she wasn't.
She was like 14 or something, right?
She was like 12.
Yeah.
But like she didn't really, you know, she didn't feel like she belonged, you know. And here's the thing about this movie, like, this movie holds a very special place in my heart because when I saw this movie, I actually saw it in theaters in New York City. So, and when sorry, I might get a little emotional.
No,
dude, this movie,
if you wanna take the
Sam, did you already
here?
explain? Like when me and you watched it, we're like, oh yeah, we'll just knock this one out quick right before the podcast.
And then
we both showed up. We're like, audience, man.
yeah. So like,
oh dude,
go ahead.
This is like one of the most teary Ghibli movies.
It is. So you go ahead and take it. Go ahead.
This film, reminds me of my grandmother, and for those of you who don't know, my grandmother passed away, like 6 years ago. It was all of a sudden. She had cancer, so
of course, fucking cancer.
And
dude.
that was like she had breast cancer, and like, she got rid of it, and then like 3 years later it came back and it killed her. So, like I get very emotional when it comes to this film, and like when I rewatched it, I like cried my eyes out again, because I can somewhat relate to Anna, because Anna is an only child, and like I just felt like I was Anna when I was watching this film.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like she was trying to like find herself, and you know, like, where does she belong? She felt like, you know, she didn't belong anywhere, and like when she went to the countryside to like get away, you know, that's how I feel right now. That's how I felt when I was like feeling that I wasn't belonging anywhere when I was in Jersey. That's why I moved to South Carolina, to find out, like, to just figure out myself.
Right.
So this movie, like, it has a very it holds a very special place to my heart.
Kind of worked its way in there in your little part there.
So,
I remember talking to you about when we were talking about having you on this podcast. You were also about to move, so like, for those of you who don't try to get too personal, sorry, but Danny moved first before she started here, so. But
yeah, because
I remember
we didn't want any complications,
right?
Like that.
And I remember you struggling a little bit. So
I'm still struggling, dude. Like,
yeah,
are you kidding me? Like, I'm still struggling.
Right.
You know, like, I have a lot of demons in me, and sometimes I don't really like to talk about them. I usually keep them to myself because
say it for the demons podcast.
I know.
Danny.
Shut up. No, but like all jokes aside, like I like sometimes like the way that I think when I'm like deep in thought, I usually don't talk about it because I know how to handle it. So, and when my grandmother passed away, that was like I was in a bad place.
Mm-hmm.
Like those were the dark times.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it like still hits me, and like this fucking movie just like hits it home, and that's why I love it. You know, like I do get sad every time this movie is mentioned, but it's in a good way, because it makes me remind me of my grandmother. Not that like I'm not thinking about my grandmother every day. Like I think about her 24/7. So, but like this movie really hits it home for me, and I love it so much.
Sure.
Yeah, I didn't even have any of those same experiences, but I still felt like really, you know,
I think
a connection to the character here too.
Yeah.
So
I think for real,
it was really well directed.
I think on the Real Talk though too, like when me and Nick talked about it on the show, it was that reveal, dude. It was like that explanation at the end, like at the last part of the movie.
It was kind of hinted at, I think.
Sure.
You knew that Marnie wasn't like necessarily.
Yeah, you knew that Marnie wasn't a real person.
She was going to be something supernatural, basically.
Yes, yeah. You knew from the beginning that Marnie was like an illusion. She was a person in Anna's head. So, but when the people who were living, who moved into the Marsh house and was refurbishing it, the girl found Marnie's diary, and she spotted Anna in the trench and told her, and was shouting Marnie and all that kind of stuff. So like I kind of enjoyed that little girl, like, wondering like who was Marnie, and like she thought that Anna was Marnie, and Anna was all like, no, that's not me, that's not my diary.
Right.
So
right.
It also has like a sense of like, well, who is Marnie?
Right.
And at the end when they confronted what was her name, Misaka, the elderly woman who was painting them art. Like I got like a sense of relief when like she was talking about Marnie's life and like how she was when she was an adult and stuff like that. So yeah, I love this movie.
Yeah. So I mean, I think a lot of it too is also like we knew that Marnie was not, like, she was something that she was just seeing. But I think it was also like, why is the main character, the whole thing was why was the main character seeing her, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then the reveal at the end just made it like you thought it was something
so much
like
more
that.
Sense.
Yeah, you thought it was something like that, but not as epic as what it was actually it was.
Right,
so it was
right.
So
yeah,
it was kind of cool.
It was really a good connection. Like, it was actually somebody like related to her. It wasn't just a random imaginary friend.
No, yeah, and they didn't try. They did it without. It didn't seem like they were trying to tug at your heartstrings. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you can watch like a television show or a movie.
Oh
it's
yeah,
like,
like melodramatic. Yep.
Yeah, you're just trying to throw the feels in that one. Whatever. They kind of just did it, and then you just kind of felt that way, which is how it's supposed to be. That's how it works, right?
Yeah, because they did a good job directing it.
For sure.
I keep forgetting his name. Honobayashi or
Yonebayashi. Hinamasu Yonebayashi is his name. So, how do you want to go on from here, guys? Obviously, we thought that one was a great one, right? So, that's it, right? Game over.
Documentary.
We did watch the documentary.
So this isn't going to be in our rankings. We're just going to briefly. What did we learn? We don't have to summarize it. Let's just say like what were our takeaways?
Yeah, we already said at the beginning what it follows and whatever. So,
and I guess I didn't give my final impressions of Marnie.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Did you guys both did it, right?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
I think people.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one too. Like I would put it in the top, the top section of the Ghibli movies. I don't know exactly where we made our little tears in like 5 minutes. So, this one had a really big emotional pull to it. So like I teared up at the No Tear Nick.
Wow. Wow.
I didn't tear up.
The Legend of No Tear Nick was a lie.
I was cutting onions. I just so happened.
Yeah, right.
I just so happened to be cutting them.
The Legend of No Tear Nick was a lie, and I helped cover it up.
I needed to add flavor to my food, so I was making onions. So yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I agree with everything Danny said pretty much. Like the idea of a person dealing with loneliness, and she was really didn't have any didn't feel like she had any friends or any family, or like her family didn't really feel real to her either because it was like foster parents, and she felt like they didn't love her and all that. When in reality they did. They were just
they just didn't know.
They didn't know how to express it really.
They didn't. Yeah, they didn't know.
And they were ashamed of taking the government money too.
Yeah.
Because in Japan, that's like part of their. Well, I guess in humans in general don't like the idea of taking handouts. People want to be able to be autonomous and fend for themselves.
Some people.
Well, it's complicated, but
not all.
most people.
If someone went and said, "Oh, here, have $1,000," oh, okay.
Well, no, but if someone's like, "Here, have $1,000 every month" or whatever, and then okay, well, anyway, that's That's not. Save it
People are
for
greedy.
save it for the Universal Basic Income podcast, Nick. All right.
Universal basic income.
Well, yeah, like, so her family didn't know how to express it to her, and then she goes, to the summer place, and she like gets in a fight with some girls, and she's just like lonely and everything. So like that just like really, it felt pretty real, like the way they handled that, and I like the song at the end. I like how they played that. I like how she was just driving away and she saw Marnie one last time. Ugh. So yeah, great movie. I probably ranked it too low on my tier list. I'll have to remedy that.
I ranked it a little lower, and it's not because.
Ghibli has so many fucking good movies. Like,
yeah, right. Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It's because other stuff I enjoyed other stuff more. Obviously, Danny would have ranked it higher because of the personal stuff she had with it, and she's obviously not going to fault us for that. But,
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't fault anybody for putting this at number one if they wanted. This is a good movie.
Right.
Honestly,
yeah.
So
no, we want to. I'd only fault you for putting Tales from Earthsea anywhere higher than.
Yeah, and Arrietty. Okay, those two were like not the best. And honestly, for me, let's get to the tiers later.
Arrietty was directed by the same guy. I'm gonna butcher his name. Someone say his name.
Hiromasa Yonebayashi.
Yeah, he directed Arrietty. That was his debut.
What was the source
film.
material?
Arrietty. The source material was The Borrowers. There's an old folktale. The Borrowers. The little people. They borrow stuff.
Oh yeah,
it's an old English.
So that's why I
book
didn't like that
by
one
Mary
much.
Norton.
That's why that one felt
love
like a fairy tale
that. I mean,
too.
it
had more heart to it. Okay, yeah.
I enjoyed that one a lot because it just reminded me of the John Goodman, The Borrowers.
Right, which I mentioned on that episode, and then Nick was like, "Shut up, Sam, stupid." Nobody knows what that is.
You know what, Sam? You know what I gotta say about John Goodman Borrowers? Mark it 0. Your foot was over the line, Donnie.
Ah, shut up.
Not Donnie, other guy. Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
But anyway, The Kingdom of Dreams and Madness is a really enjoyable documentary. I seriously recommend everyone watch it.
Yeah, even if you haven't seen any Ghibli movies, you should watch it.
This is my second time watching it. I watched it the first time when it was on Netflix for a short time.
It was my second time watching it as well. And I think it's really cool not only to follow the two films it was following, which was Kaguya and The Wind Rises, but like just to see everything. Because these movies have been lives. These movies have been coming out for a long time. And then finally they make a documentary of just showing where the magic is happening.
It's more of like a snapshot. Studio. It's not really a Ghibli documentary. It's like a Wind Rises snapshot.
It's like a period documentary. Yeah, I think it shows
almost entirely about the Wind Rises.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's about Studio Ghibli as a whole because you could go way deeper than that.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to make a multi-movie documentary for that. But like,
100%. And as we mentioned too in the Wind Rises, or not the Wind Rises episode, but the Ghibli episode where we talked about the Wind Rises, as we mentioned in that one, it does show where Miyazaki-san is talking about his struggle drawing the planes.
Yeah, because the zero plane. I forgot what it was called.
He was having confliction because he was drawing something that was used for war. But in that sense, he was okay with drawing them because that then related to the character, the main character, because he was designing planes for war, and he was like,
I like the scene where Miyazaki and Anno are talking about otakus a little bit, and like they're like, oh, I'm not an otaku, and then you see him like zooming the plane around.
yeah
It's like he totally is.
Yeah, she was all like, oh, so are you an otaku? And he's all like, no.
My favorite scenes are these two, and you guys, I know you guys are gonna be like, wow, Simon, you're fucking hoe. But anyway,
is it the cats?
Shut up, dude. So
is it him poking the cat and saying, I wish I didn't have a schedule?
Yeah. It's like he's outside.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Don't die.
I'm dying.
He's outside they have this nice like terrace area at the top. And fucking Catface Johnson, I forget the cat's name, but it's a fucking, she's this furry fucking white cat, and
Black and white cat. She's
Yeah.
got black spots on.
yeah. And
the
there's a
tail
little
that is,
table.
like- yeah. Anyway,
She's like the anti-Pacho, right? Because Pacho's more
Dude,
black and white.
no, wait, hold on. Before you continue your story, Sam, she literally, like, their cat, she literally just walked out of a Miyazaki film. Like, that's how I picture the cats that Miyazaki-san draws.
Oh, for sure.
Like, that's like, she just walked out of a Studio Ghibli film.
Yeah,
That's it.
she's like, I'm out. I'm done. But yeah, there's
Anyways,
this little
continue.
table, and he's out there having a cigarette, and he's like, look at her. Look at this fun cat right now. And then he looks at her, and she looks up at him, and he's like,
Like,
"You-"
pokes him.
Yeah.
He pokes her.
And then she looks up at him, and he's like, you have no schedule. And then my other favorite scene, other than all the awesome information and stuff too, is seeing when they're cooking for everybody, because these guys are working all fucking day. Like,
well, Miyazaki
They-
works exactly 10 hours a day, 6 days a week.
yeah,
He has like
Yeah.
a precise schedule.
yeah,
Yeah, he starts at like what 11
goes 11
a.m.
Yeah.
11 a.m. on the dot, and
Till
he
9 p.m.
leaves. He leaves at 9 p.m. on the dot. Like, he doesn't go over.
Which I think
he
is good
doesn't-
because lets you have some balance, you know? I think that's important.
Yeah,
right. He even shows you his house, which is crazy. But anyway, they're all cooking for each other, and he puts like 14 packs of ramen in this big pot, and then puts instant ramen, and then puts all the powder, and then puts sautéed mushrooms and some others, and a bunch of scrambled eggs. And he mixes it, and everybody just goes. He brings it to the center, and everybody just fucking. Everyone just fucking going ham. He grabs some random like scratch paper from like someone's bin, and then puts it on the table, and then puts the pot on top of it. And he's just like, "Here you go, eat."
he's so blunt.
That's some
I love
real
it.
shit.
And then he's like, the guy's pouring in the eggs, and he's doing it too fast, and he's like, "Slow down, like slowly, like it's too quick." But yeah, it's a really good documentary.
I think, like, my favorite part was when they were trying to figure out the lead, like who would
Oh, the
voice,
voicing the lead.
Oh, yeah.
hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was so funny when they were all like, maybe we should get like a non-actor, and they mentioned I forgot the
Hideaki Anno.
actor's name.
Hideaki Anno.
Yeah.
Well, he's not an actor.
And-
He's a director, not an actor.
Yeah,
he's
and
Evangelo
he was
Man.
he was all and Miyazaki-san was all like, nah, not Anno, no, we can't. And then like it just kept like going in his head like, oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'll call him later and stuff. So
And then it
that
cuts
was,
to like
pretty
him in the
funny.
car, and he calls him. And then-
Yeah, that was freaking awesome.
I like how
I
they-
could watch
I like how
I
they
could watch
bullied
this
him.
documentary all day.
I like,
Yeah,
I like
no.
how
I can
I like
watch-
how they playfully bullied him, and they're like, "Oh, Anno, you can go take a break now." And he's like, "Oh no, I know what's gonna happen if I do that."
Oh yeah, no, they go out like I forgot the voice director or whatever. I don't know what her position was, but like
Some
she
kind
was
of
all like, oh, they
production
want you
assistant
up.
or something,
Like,
yeah.
you can go upstairs if you want. He's all like, no, I'll stay down here because they'll just bully me. And she's like, oh, okay, I'll get you some coffee. And like when she went upstairs, like they were like praising Anno and everything like that. And then like she went downstairs and it cut like, oh, you know, they want you to go upstairs. They're praising you. And he's all like, no, it's a trap. Like,
Yeah.
the first thing if I go upstairs, they'll start picking on me.
I think it's cool that like Anno is Miyazaki's protege, well, sort of to some extent, because
They worked together a
they
while
worked
ago,
together
yeah.
on Nausicaa, I believe,
Yes. Yep.
and you know he helped him get his jump start, and then you know now he's helping out Miyazaki a little bit, and then you know Takahata is Miyazaki's senior, so
Mentor, yeah.
you got that little dynamic going on. I think it's like you know
Yeah.
in real life for everybody, like everybody should have something like that going on. Like you should have your peers, your pupils, and then also your mentors. Like everybody should have that. If you don't have
Right.
that, then you're missing something. So
For sure.
Sam, you are my you're my senpai, Sam, and then Danny, you're my kohai. There we go. All right. And I have no peers.
Pacho can be your peer.
Oh yeah,
There you
Paco.
Fucking
yeah.
Pachos
He always
Tachos,
bullies
dude.
me.
Or
Oh,
Aqua
man.
Titties. Aqua Titties can be your
Oh, yeah.
peer.
Oh yeah, Aqua
Same.
Titty. Same. Oh my god. Y'all should join the Discord. It's fucking funny. Anyway,
It's in the show notes. So yep.
so anyway, I mean,
liked.
it's a fun documentary.
Yeah, they had some really insightful comments and quotes. They like Miyazaki was talking about his character because basically Miyazaki doesn't, and I think Takahata to some extent, they don't plan ahead their storyboards. Like they don't have, they kind of just do it as they go along. That's like most Ghibli movies, or maybe all of them. And he, I don't think it's all of them, because some of them are based off of, like, When Marnie Was There was based off a novel, right? So that one's different. But the Miyazaki specific ones, the originals, are, he's just going by the seat of his pants. It's basically exactly like Shirobako, except they don't chain him to the basement. But
Howl's Moving Castle was based.
Oh, that was based off something as
on
well.
On an English novel.
But the storyboards themselves are. What I'm saying is, like, the storyboards he makes up as he goes along, and he was talking about, like, I like how he goes to the animators and tells them, like, you know, how to draw, like, a specific scene, and, like, every tiny little detail has to be perfect. You know, he's like, oh no, they can't bow like this because back then they bowed, you know, in this precise way or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he says, like, his quote is like, what drives animation is the will of the characters. You don't depict fate, you depict will, even if fate exists. And that's what I think a couple of the Ghibli movies lacked. Like Kaguya, it had some of that, but it didn't have enough, like, will of the characters, if that made sense. The best Ghibli movies have sense. Like, the characters are, you know, they're fighting for something and they're, like, taking real agency and everything. And Kaguya, while it's also a great movie, it didn't quite have that, you know. But it had. I don't want to, like, bash on Kaguya. It sounds like I don't like it, but I did like it. But
the thing is, with that comparison that you just said, you also have to remember that Takahata-san isn't Miyazaki-san. So
yeah, they're different, and he was also adapting different thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like Takahata-san adapts way differently than Miyazaki-san. So that and I think that what was a little bit of a lackluster in this documentary, like, you did see a couple of, like, information about Isao Takahata, but you didn't really see his development and his madness on how he was making.
That's why this is the Wind Rises documentary. It's not really any more or less than that.
Yeah.
And then I also liked how, like, Miyazaki was talking about how the NHK and, like, the conservatism, you know, in their country was kind of pushing the freedoms down, or their creative freedom. They were getting a little bit restricted. Like in The Wind Rises, he couldn't touch on certain topics of the war because it wouldn't have been aired in Japan. Yeah. They have, like, a real problem with, you know, denying a lot of, you know, of their past, like, war, you know, crimes or whatever they are. So that was interesting that he was.
Well,
that's
why he kind of like changed the ending too, because, you know, he described when he finished his storyboard. If I remember correctly, it wasn't anti-war, but then, but then Miyazaki-san changed the ending, and the ending became anti-war or something like that. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But, like, they were discussing, Miyazaki-san and Suzuki-san were talking, like, Suzuki was going through the storyboard because Miyazaki-san changed the ending. He's all like, I like this ending better. Hence the final ending that we got when the movie was released.
Now that I'm thinking about it, we really should have talked about this in conjunction with The Wind Rises, because that would have made more sense.
Yeah.
But that's fine, because, like, the basic takeaways from the movie are, like, you know, Miyazaki has his methods for making movies.
Right.
And
Takahata-san has his ways.
Yeah. It was really a Miyazaki themed movie though, so we didn't learn a lot about Takahata in this one. But like as far as Miyazaki, he likes to leave a little bit of like life's mysteries in his movie. He likes to leave, some dialogue unsaid, which I like. I don't enjoy when characters just spell everything out for you, And he has kind of this like understanding of like what, of like social cues and everything, which I enjoy. So he had a good quote about that. I don't have it off the top of my head, but something to the effect of like they were asking him like why he got married, and he's like, well, I had to. I asked her. I couldn't back out. It was just something that had to be done, And it's like that's kind of part of his movies. Like some things just have to be done or whatever. So, I think that's a good takeaway from it. Also, this movie was pretty well directed. The documentary. It was kind of. I like the Japanese style of directing where they shoot scenery. They start off a scene with just like shooting some power lines or whatever. There's a word for that. I forgot, but it's like I forgot what it is. But anyway, like America does it a little differently. It's more like overly dramatic, and this one is more like low key and scenic. And the very ending where he's just kind of like walking toward the camera, it just ends.
I saw this movie in theaters as well. That was a great experience.
So should we go through our? I don't know how much time we got left. We kind of.
Yeah, we got enough time. Let's do a good job, Sam. All right, we're an hour and 15.
We don't. But okay, we're not.
We're at an hour and 15 right now.
Yeah, not supposed to go over. Okay, but anyway, it's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead, bitch.
Yeah, Danny.
What am I doing? What's happening?
I was talking to Nick, but then he said, "Oh yeah, Danny."
What are we doing?
Yeah, Sam, you didn't tell us what we're doing.
Well, sure. I'm just gonna say it, right? Just my how I have it in order.
So we're listing our Ghibli favorite movies in order.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say mine. So 1 to 20. Okay, 20 being the most pacho.
Build a little suspense. Count upward.
Oh, true that. So from the most pacho and then up. Okay. Number 20, Tales from Mercy. Just because. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Arrietty. The Cat Returns. Whisper of the Heart. They're kind of boring. Ponyo. From Up on a Poppy Hill. My Neighbor the Yamadas. The Wind Rises. Tale of Princess Kaguya. Porco Rosso. When Marnie Was There. So no, When Marnie Was There is number 10. Going up from there is Castle in the Sky. Grave of the Fireflies. Only Yesterday. Howl's Moving Castle. And my top 5, starting from 5, Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro, Pompoko, Princess Mononoke, and Kiki's Delivery Service. So
Sam,
fight
you
me.
had him upside down. What are you doing? I'm just
What do you
kidding.
mean? Oh, shut up. You shut up. I'm not the one who put Tales from Mercy at number 5, okay?
Nobody did.
I know. I was just trying to make you look bad. What about you, Danny? You go ahead.
You put it as rank Z.
I know, because it sucks.
I didn't think it was that bad, but yeah, okay, that's fine. It wasn't that good though, so.
Right. I think Danny's still futzing with her, so you go ahead, Nick.
Okay. So
Starting
the
from
reason I
20
want to do
going
this
up.
in tiers is because I feel like there's different like clumps, right? And I don't necessarily, like putting something 1 or 7 or whatever. It's like, who cares about the number for me? I just, what's in what bucket? So the bottom bucket, we got Tales from Earthsea. Then the second bottom bucket, we got Arrietty, Cat Returns, Whisper of the Heart. I feel like all of these bottom ones are just, they've been done better by other movies in Ghibli. Like Whisper of the Heart is done better with Only Yesterday. So,
Agree.
yeah, there we go. And then
I agree.
for me, I had Pompoko pretty low because I don't like the raccoon face Johnsons as much as Sam.
It's fucking bullshit, dude. Fucking full of shit.
And then I have My Neighbor's the Yamadas. That one's actually kind of funny. I sort of enjoyed that one. And then From Up on Poppy Hill, just like a reasonable movie. Porco Rosso had some great animation, but I felt like it was a little bit lacking in like, direction or like drive.
I feel like it didn't have enough volume.
It had
a
few really great scenes where he's like flying above the clouds and everything. But anyway,
Right.
so and then I had the Tale of Princess Kaguya at number 12, When Marnie Was There, which maybe I should put that higher now that I'm thinking about it, but I don't know what to put it above because like everything above it is awesome. So
put it above Ponyo definitely.
no, the thing about Ponyo is this I think has the best animation of any Ghibli movie.
It's gorgeous.
It's like a masterpiece of animation. The thing about it is like you can show a Ponyo to anybody. It's like a family movie, so that's why I'm putting slightly above When Marnie because like that one's a little more, niche. I don't know. Maybe that's, take it or leave it. Then the last in my C tier is Castle in the Sky. C for Castle.
No.
The oldest Ghibli movie. I think that one is like, if you want to start someone on a Ghibli movie, just be like, hey, watch Castle in the Sky. Can't go wrong with that.
That's a good one.
It's good. It's not necessarily the best Ghibli movie, but it's like really good. You can't go wrong. Then in the B tier, we have Howl's Moving Castle, The Wind Rises, Only Yesterday, and Kiki's Delivery Service. With these, they're like just below the very top. They're some of my very.
They're pretty close.
Sorry.
They're pretty close, is what you're saying. Like.
Yeah, they're close, but they're not quite masterpieces. Like, Only Yesterday, if it was as good as the ending, like the last, I would say 15 minutes of the movie are like a masterpiece, but it does have some slow parts in the middle, and perhaps it was a tiny bit too long. And if it was as good as the ending, it would be the number one Ghibli movie because I think it had maybe the best ending. And the others, Howl's Moving Castle, like best soundtrack, Wind Rises, just all around really good, Kiki's Delivery Service, all around really good. Anyway, the A tier, the top tier for me is Grave of the Fireflies, Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro, and Princess Mononoke. Those are at the top. And, those are like the obvious picks. They're the best produced. They look awesome. They're most iconic with Totoro. Spirited Away has some of the best animation. Mononoke has some of the best everything. Grave of the Fireflies.
So the way Nick broke down his buckets or whatever, like A, B, C, D, for the most part, there's a few exceptions. My bucket was similar. Obviously, I had Pompoko way higher,
fine.
And
you can rank it however you want. I mean,
no, I'm just saying, like, in terms of like how many A's and B's and C's you had.
Oh yeah, mine were a little like, I had like 4 and everything, and then the bottom was like 3 and a 1. Yeah,
because Tales from Earthsea is just
because Earthsea was just not as. It just didn't have the heart of the Ghibli movie,
Just because Goro Miyazaki didn't, he sucks.
Well, come on, don't hate on Miyazaki-san's son. That's not nice.
Yeah, I don't know. Like my personal favorite maybe is Totoro, but I put Mononoke above it, Princess Mononoke. But if I rewatched them, I'd probably reorder a little bit. But that's just the gist of it. Those are my little clumps, my groups.
So, what about you, Danny's?
Well, since I came aboard of this podcast way later than when you guys started, the Ghibli, like the episode Ghibli series, I didn't watch all of them. Like, I didn't watch all 20. I have to say, I didn't watch 4 Ghibli films.
Yep.
So I'm only rating the ones that I've seen.
Yep. So 16 and up is where you're going. Yeah. Yep.
So
just leave them in the ranks they're at right now, Danny.
Shut the fuck up.
To make Sam mad.
Shut up.
Pompoko below Earthsea.
Well, I'll see once I get the chance to watch.
Oh, Pompoko's a fine movie. I don't hate it at all.
An ass.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna go to my E bucket, and those 2 are Tales from Earthsea and The Secret World of Arrietty. My D bucket is From Up on Poppy Hill and Porco Rosso. The C bucket is Grave of the Fireflies, Castle in the Sky, Only Yesterday.
That's a bold move, putting Grave of the Fireflies so low.
Okay, so here's my thing with Grave of the Fireflies. It's just too fucking sad, and like I can't.
Yeah, we said that too. Yeah.
That's like I still have it in the C, like in my C list. But like it just, the ones that I've watched, it really wasn't my favorite because it was just too fucking sad, and like that Grave of the Fireflies is the type of film that I can't like watch frequently. Like if someone hasn't seen it and they would want to watch it, I would definitely watch it again with them. But other than that, this is the type of film that I wouldn't decide on my own, like out of the blue, like, oh, I'm gonna watch Grave of the Fireflies. Like,
right.
No. Like that's the type of film that no. So, but yeah.
It's too heavy.
It's so heavy. It's so
but
real and it's so
good,
heavy.
though.
Yeah. No, like I'm not like hating on it. Like it's a great film. So, like that's one of Takahata-san's greatest films that he's ever made.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, most people say that's his best one.
It is his best one, and I firmly believe it. So, but anyway, so my B list is The Tale of Princess Kaguya, The Wind Rises, Ponyo, and Kiki's Delivery Service. And then lastly, my A tier is My Neighbor Totoro, Princess Mononoke, When Marnie Was There, Spirited Away, and my number one is Howl's Moving Castle.
Can't even come for you on that one. Howl's Moving Castle number one.
Number one soundtrack.
That's my like I can watch that film over and over and over again.
I just want to marry Howl.
That one has a good dub too.
Yeah,
the dub is phenomenal.
It's fantastic, and I just love showing people this film.
Oh yeah.
And I want to get a tattoo of Howl on
He's
my
Ghibli Husbando.
He is my
straight
yeah.
up. Straight the fuck
I
up.
really wanted, when this film came out, I really wanted to see it in theaters, but unfortunately I didn't get the chance to. So hopefully one day when G.
Oh, I saw this one in theaters when it came out.
Yeah, I really wanted to, but I didn't.
You know, when I saw Howl's
it.
Moving Castle the first time, I saw it probably like 3 months after they started putting red boxes out there in front of like Walgreens and shit. When red boxes were just becoming huge is when I watched it, because I red boxed it. Fucking love Redbox. Anyway,
I think when it finally came out on DVD, I was all like, I need to get this.
I need to buy this. I need to
buy this. So
now I feel like I ranked it too low. God damn it!
I love this film. I love this film.
Put it above The Wind Rises.
I have a movie poster. I have the Japanese movie poster.
Nice, nice one, mate.
So
does anyone have any final thoughts or conclusions then? Anything you want to say before we end this turkey?
Well, I want to.
I'm gonna cry now.
I want to just quickly plug that, and everyone should probably already know this, but Miyazaki's coming out of retirement, and he is working on a new film called How Do You Live?
Yep.
So there's not a lot of detail about the film, like on what it's going to be about. I mean, it's dedicated to like in the article that I posted. It's the movie is based on the 1937 book of the same name, written. I'm going to butcher that name. I'm just gonna say his last name, Yoshino. So, and the story follows a 15-year-old boy and his uncle who moved to a new neighborhood as the kid deals with spiritual growth, bullying, poverty, education, work, courage, and how to live as a human being. This film, and I quote from what Suzuki-san revealed in a press conference, Miyazaki is making the new film for his grandson. It's his way of saying Grandpa is moving is moving on to the next world, but he's leaving behind this film. So pretty much Miyazaki-san is dedicating this film to his grandson. And the goal of to release this film is 2020 or 2021.
For sure.
So.
For sure.
Right on.
And a lot of people thought, like, when Miyazaki-san came out of retirement and it was announced that he was coming out of retirement, people thought that he was going to do a feature film of his short film about that caterpillar, Boro the caterpillar.
Boruto.
Yeah, in the Studio Ghibli Museum. Yeah, Boro the caterpillar. Yeah.
So, but that's not.
Oh, but it's going to be something different. Okay.
It's something completely
That's good,
different,
actually.
Yeah.
So.
I don't like caterpillars. So,
Well, because everyone thought that he was going to release that as a thing.
But
yeah.
we already have A Bug's Life, the pinnacle of
true.
bug-based movies.
That's true.
So yeah, that's my plug.
I just got one thing to say before Nick takes us out of here. It was Danny's birthday last week, and I totally forgot to say shit. It was her birthday the day after we recorded, so happy belated birthday. Y'all already said it on Discord, so thank you for that. I love all of you for that. Happy birthday,
everyone.
Danny. She's like,
Danny, your dentures arrived in the mail.
yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
I'm so old.
We play bridge on Tuesdays.
What?
we built those gates like there was no tomorrow.
Oh my
there's-
god. Okay, Cowboy Bebop.
Also tomorrow, I have the day off from work. Thank God, because it's Trisha's birthday. So I want to dedicate.
Well,
this.
remember. So wait, what's today? Today's Wednesday.
So you guys, when you guys listen to it,
Today's Tuesday.
today's Tuesday.
For you, today's Wednesday.
It's because it's 12:30 now.
Yeah. But
time zones, not even once.
So not even once. So for when you guys listen to it, you'll hear her birthday will have been yesterday, but
It will have been only yesterday, if you will.
she stays so damn quiet when I'm sitting here recording and yelling at Danny and yelling at Nick and Coca and Mac, and sometimes she just goes. She puts up with me for having her because she doesn't want to be in a different room. You know, she wants to be up here with me, and that's just like, fuck, God, I love you. I love you. So happy birthday. I love you. You're my favorite lesbian and my favorite panda bear in my bear stable. Bitch. Anyway, Nick, please take us out of here because I have to go to the bathroom.
All right, all our contact info is on the bottom. I'm not going to list it off. Please rate us on iTunes.
I'm not going to list. This is
Fuck
stupid.
it. Dude.
If you leave us a review on iTunes,
I'm gonna pitch you guys a new way to end the show after the show. We might be changing a couple of things around in the future. Maybe. I got to run it by everybody. But anyway,
if it's Nick's idea,
I just want the endings to be more. I want the endings to be more epic. I want to go out with a bang. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so do it then.
I don't have anything planned for that though. I need like a good soundbite. It'd be like, bam, Ghibli, bam, Ghibli.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
Studio Ghibli, one of the best. If you haven't seen them, check them out. Literally watch them in any order. I would suggest starting with Castle in the Sky if you haven't seen anything yet. That's my personal, starter pack right there.
Mm-hmm.
And just go down the list. I mean, honestly, yeah, they're all pretty much worth watching, except I would say the bottom 4 you could take them or leave them. So anyway, dude, a couple of masterpieces in there.
Also show them to people who aren't into anime because they'll like them too.
Yeah, you don't have to like anime. You can just be like, hey, let's watch this movie because it's that good. So, the good thing is some of the new movies now, like Your Name, Silent Voice, I keep calling it A Place Further in the Universe. That's the TV show. In This Corner of the World, God, it's like the same name.
In the corner.
Like those new movies are bringing up this resurgence of more anime movies, which I love, and once you get into Ghibli movies, then you're like, oh shit, what other anime movies are there? Oh, well, we got Redline, we got Angel's Egg, we got all this stuff. So
Angel's
it
Egg.
opens. Dude, that's a masterpiece, son. What are you talking about? 10 out of 10.
It is. It's great. You know what you're talking about now. Anyway.
So Ghibli though is basically you can't go wrong.
For
Except
sure.
the bottom 4.
You really can't. All these films that we ranked and everything, like our personal likes and dislikes and stuff. But all of the 20 Ghibli films and like some of the non-Ghibli films that Miyazaki and Takahata-san directed and everything, like they're all great.
Yeah.
They all have their own like perks of the movie, and you know, all of them are not the same. Like all of them are super different.
Right.
So, and
There's
that's
some
why
similarities in a couple of them. That's why
there are some similarities. Like for Miyazaki-san, like majority of all his female roles are very strong.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, there's like a lot of nature.
A lot of nature. Yeah. You know, aside from The Wind Rises, because the main character in The Wind Rises isn't a female, it's Hiro. So, but aside from that, majority of all of Miyazaki-san's leads are females, and they have a strong presence to them.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So,
and I would say, you know, if you haven't seen any Ghibli, then you have to watch them. Like,
then you're living under a rock, and you need to get off.
It's like,
under that
you know,
rock and like watch some shit.
You have to watch at least half a dozen Ghibli movies before you die. You know, that's what I'm gonna say. If you don't watch, you know, 5-10 Ghibli movies of the best ones, then
you gotta watch the
what are you doing?
important ones.
What are you doing?
The important ones are a must.
Yeah, I would say like the top 10 roughly are must watch. Maybe the top 12. Like anything C tier or above for me. Plus,
we could go on in any order how to watch it.
Whatever. Like,
but anyway,
this
like,
is some of the best anime has to offer, so definitely watch them. They're great to show people. Ghibli's the best. Great. Good job. That's the show. All right.